All right, so here is my NASA V2 setup. I have a Hexacopter. My GPS is mounted a little bit to the right on my craft, so I have my settings here. Here's my throttle, my aileron, my elevator, and my rudder, which all seem to be working fine. Here's my X2, which is, I have it linked to my home lock, and position lock. I have my U, which is manual attitude GPS, and then for my gimbal, my X1, I have here. So that seems all fine. My gains, I haven't touched the gains. I didn't have to mess with these on my quad, so I figured why mess with them on my Hex. I don't know if that has anything to do with it. Here I had to, I don't know if this is something that's weird as well. I know that on my quad I actually have it set here. But if I do that, or if I do recommended, when I do my my engage sequence on my radio, the motors don't spin, so I have to bump it up to this to get them to idle. I'm not sure if that has to do with anything, but that's what I have to do. That's standard. Go home. Again, this is all set. Should be fine. Gimbal, I have a gimbal, but it's not on there yet because I can't get this thing to fly correctly. My voltage, I have a 4S LiPo on there. Again, I didn't touch any of these settings on my quad, and it seems to work really good for me. So I didn't touch them on this craft. My limits, I tried messing with this stuff, but it didn't seem to do anything because I can't get it to fly correctly. As far as my tools, so here's my gyro. Again, it's sitting on a table, so I got minute fluctuations. There's nothing crazy, but if I lift the craft up or to the side, then my numbers, change heavy. So to me, I would assume that my gyro is working as it should. So I upgraded. I got 4.0. There's no updates for the GPS. I don't know if this matters because there's no loader on here. The other things do. I don't know if that could be a faulty GPS, but I'm going to try disconnecting that and running it in just attitude mode. But I want to start fresh and show you what I have, what I'm starting with. So that's what I have. Everything seems to be pretty straightforward. So next I'm going to fly this thing and show you how crazy it gets. All right, so I powered on the craft here. I'm just going to wait for it to get GPS signal. I'm going to try this first just to get a base point to show you where it's at, what's going on with it. So I'm getting the green and the red. Okay, now it found its recorded its home position. Now we have GPS lock. So I'm going to do idle here and then throttle up. And as you can see, it's just all over the place. I don't know what, I have no control over this thing right now. It's up and down. It just doesn't want to stay. It doesn't want to stay anywhere. I don't know why. That's what I get out of it. It's just chaos. It doesn't want to tip over, so I feel like it knows
the gyros or something's working, but I just don't get much throttle response out of it. It just doesn't want to go up. It doesn't want to do anything smoothly. I'll try that again just to show you. And I don't know if you can hear it, but it's just now I have full throttle and this thing should rocket to the sky, but it just doesn't want to do anything but that. I really don't know what to do. But it seems fine. The craft is balanced well. There's nothing crazy hanging off of it. As you can see, the green light's pulsing. I have GPS, but it's crazy sauce right now, and I don't like it. All right, so we're gonna try this again. I unplugged the GPS unit, and it's just in attitude mode. So I got the orange or yellow light flashing here. So we're gonna try this again and see if this makes any sort of difference. Again, up and down. I'm not touching the throttle right now. It's just all over the place. I don't get it. I do not know. But again, as you can see, it really doesn't tip too much. It stays, I don't want to use the word level, but it stays, it doesn't flip over, you know, and you can hear the motor's going, but I'll put this in manual mode. And again, it takes off, and it seems like I have better throttle control, but it's just the throttle's all over the place. It goes up, down, and I don't know why, but I do have actual range. And it wants to get off the ground. So 6 clicks. I'm at about 20% and this thing wants to lift off the ground. When I run it in GPS or attitude mode, it's 50% and it just barely gets off the ground. So there's obviously a major difference, but it's like it's not receiving throttle signal, or I don't know. I don't know what it is. I teared this thing apart. See, he wants to get off the ground. I got barely any throttle on it. And you can hear the motor's just whipping and whacking. I don't... Again, we'll throw it back in attitude. And I know because the thing I also know that's wrong is that I did my calculations and this thing should lift, this thing should be able to lift 6 or 7 pounds at 50% throttle. And it barely gets off the ground in GPS or attitude mode with 50% throttle. But now when I have it on manual, I'm at about 20% throttle and it wants to come off the ground. So it happens throughout here. See, hear that noise? It like flutters, like it just gets... See, I'm at about 60% throttle here. I'm at about 60% throttle and it's just going up and down, up and down. I hate this. And all my props, everything's balanced. I balanced each prop by hand. They're carbon fiber poly, I think, blend props. But I don't know. That's what I got going on. So things aren't going well. So any help would be appreciated. Or if someone has an idea or whatever, that'd be awesome. Thanks. All right. So one thing that I did just notice that, so when I'm flying this thing, the throttle's all over the place, up, down. You can hear it, like a rapid acceleration and deceleration in the motors. So I wanted to see what would happen if I put this in manual and put some weight on it to see if I get the same thing. So there's definitely something in the gyro or whatever that's causing it to do that huge flux. Because if I'm going to put my foot on this here. This is obviously dangerous. I don't recommend doing this, but at this point, I'll try anything. So I'm going to put weight on this with my foot, and I'll put this in manual mode to show you that I get a smooth throttle response in manual mode, but I flew it earlier in manual and it's still up and down. So there's something in the flight control that's telling it not to do this or that. So I will show you. So here's my idle. Now if you notice how fast these are spinning, and I'm at about 40%. That's 50. That was at about 60%. And these things got some juice to them. This craft, if my calculations are right, should lift about 23, 24 pounds. And I was at about I'd say 55, 60% throttle. And the thing, I can feel it on my foot, want to lift my foot. But it's smooth. Like, it's a smooth throttle. But as soon as it gets off the ground, it gets crazy. So now I'll go back, I'll put this in GPS mode. Okay, I'm not even touching the... I don't like that. I'm not even touching this thing. Which I don't know what it is, and I have 40 amp. IPICA ESCs on here that are barely, they're not even warm. I don't know what is going on. It's like anytime it gets off the ground, it's saying no, don't do that. That's all I got. I don't know what else to do. I turned my gains down to 100% instead of 125. It's just, I really want to throw it. I don't understand how I can build a quad with a half the cost flight controller, and I got a flight controller that's supposed to be way more stable, and it's just not at all. really making me angry. And I'll just show you, I will turn this one off, that, and I'll show you that, and the difference between that craft and my 450, that is, it just flies a lot better. It's just a way better craft, and even so that I'm, you know, I can take off right in front of the camera here, and I'm not worried about it because I have complete control over it. You can see smooth, no issues. It hangs here by itself. It's very smooth. And this is the nozzle light. It performs really well. I don't know why this one seems to be so much easier than the V2, but let me get this back in the frame here. I'm gonna fly this right in front of the camera here. It's really stable. And again, this is the nozzle light. It's half the cost of the V2, but it works great. I don't know why I'm having such issues, but I am. And it's a little breezy today. It's not bad, but again, no issues at all with control here. I also have, I'll bring it closer. I also have control over the gimbal. I can point it down. You know, I have very easy control over that. So, and this is I got a gimbal on here that works like phenomenal. It's a really awesome gimbal on it. Great control. I also have, again, real fine. I can really fine tune the control over the angle of this. And I set my limits so that it won't go any further, because these things will tilt back into itself. But you can set limits. It takes a little finagling, but it's pretty straightforward.